One of these milk brands is probably in your refrigerator right now, and the carton looks exactly like it always has. But some of the most familiar names in the dairy aisle have changed in ways the package will never show you. Certain brands run processing so aggressive it strips out flavour and nutrients before the milk ever reaches your fridge. Some have quietly weathered contamination, recalls most shoppers never heard about. One brand built its whole identity on being healthier than regular dairy, and independent testers found industrial plastic chemicals inside it. And a few simply can't back up what the front of the label promises. 11 milk brands worth a second look, then 5 that actually hold up. Number 11, great value, the one the budget math makes easy. But here's something worth knowing first. Most grocery store milk comes from industrial operations, running thousands of grain-fed cows with barely any real pasture time. Built for volume, and it tastes like it. Thin, watery, flat. Great value sits squarely inside that system, and the complaints stack up, souring days before the printed date. A faint metallic taste, seals arriving loose. And in 2024, the brand was tied to a listeria recall in its plant-based line, a recall that led to legal action and deaths. Different product line, same name, same shelf. You reached for the bargain, worth asking whether you got one. Number 10, Horizon Organic, the premium-looking one. Organic on the front, packaging that implies open pastures and a small operation that cares. That image is part of what you're paying for. The reality, Horizon sources from large-scale suppliers, and investigations have repeatedly questioned whether real pasture access is actually happening. That matters, because genuine grass-fed dairy carries more omega-3s and CLA, and when grazing shrinks, those benefits shrink with it. Add intense heat treatment that degrades enzymes and vitamins, plus years of spoilage complaints, and the gap between the price and the product is what makes this one genuinely frustrating. Number 9, Lactaid. The promise is meaningful. All the comfort of dairy, none of the digestive fallout. What the label doesn't explain, lactose is only one of milk's troublemakers. The proteins, whey and casein, are a separate issue, and if your body reacts to those, removing lactose does nothing. Breaking lactose into simpler sugars also makes it sweeter and faster absorbing, worth knowing if you watch your blood sugar. And in 2024, the brand recalled product across 27 states over potential almond contamination. For someone with a serious nut allergy who chose this brand because they trusted it, that's not a footnote. That's a direct health risk. Number 8, TruMoo, the one marketed straight at kids. In 2024, school districts in San Antonio pulled TruMoo strawberry milk from cafeterias after students reported milk that looked visibly wrong, slimy, clumpy, before anyone drank it. Some kids had serious stomach pain. At least one was hospitalized, and the ingredient list reads closer to a sweetened drink than to dairy. Yet shoppers say it still somehow tastes thin and artificial. Childhood nostalgia is powerful marketing. It shouldn't come attached to a hospitalization report. Number 7, Borden. Elsie the cow has been on the carton so long, the mascot itself works as a trust signal. But this company has filed for bankruptcy twice. And when a brand is fighting to survive, the decisions show it. Corners cut, quality control trimmed, shelf life over taste. Consumers with sensitive systems repeatedly link this factory dairy to bloating and skin flare-ups, and the milk draws recurring complaints of tasting cooked, flat, or faintly metallic. The fingerprint of aggressive heat treatment. When survival is the main project, improving falls off the agenda. That's the lower half. The brands ahead carry more documented problems, independent testing, class actions, contamination histories. If this is helping, a quick like helps more people find it, because the next name might be the most surprising on the entire list. Number 6, Fairlife. Built entirely on being smarter and cleaner than regular dairy. Filtered, higher protein, priced with confidence. Then Consumer Reports sent Fairlife a formal warning letter after testing its core power chocolate shakes and finding elevated phthalates, industrial chemicals used to make plastics flexible, not ingredients, contaminants, at levels among the highest Consumer Reports recorded across every food product they tested. Even low-level phthalate exposure has been linked to hormone disruption and reproductive health concerns. You paid more because the brand said it was worth more. Then an independent watchdog found some of the highest contamination levels they'd ever measured. That gap is the entire problem. Number 5, Market Pantry from Target. You trust Target, so you extend that trust to the store brand, but the record complicates it. A class action over its coffee creamer with lab testing suggesting containers held significantly fewer servings than the label claimed. Salmonella scares tied to contaminated powdered milk ingredients, recalls for undeclared allergens, milk, egg, whey, in products that never disclose them. For someone managing a serious allergy, that's not an oversight, it's a health risk. Cheap milk is only cheap when it is what it says it is. Number 4, Lucerne from Albertsons and Safeway, the store brand that feels safe by association, which is exactly why it lands in so many carts unexamined. But sit with this, multiple documented recalls, foreign material found inside packages, salmonella scares in the supply chain, contamination tied to powdered ingredients. Add the recurring complaints, curdling early, a cheesy aftertaste, loose seals. And opening your refrigerator shouldn't feel like a gamble. Number 3, Kirkland Signature, conventional from Costco. The bulk logic is compelling until you're regularly pouring milk down the drain because it turned before the family finished it. This is conventional dairy with everything that carries. Grain-heavy GMO feed, potential synthetic hormones, antibiotics to manage cows pushed past their natural limits, with all the antibiotic resistance concerns that follow. Then aggressive heat treatment built to survive high-volume retail, and shoppers describe the result exactly as you'd predict. Flat, dull, faintly cooked. Bulk value only works if the product is worth finishing. Number 2, Shamrock Farms Rockin' Protein. The whole bottle says performance, recovery, strength. Then read what's inside. Certain versions have carried more than 40 grams of added sugar per serving. That's not a recovery drink, that's a dessert in gym clothes. When the sugar drew scrutiny, some versions switched to artificial sweeteners and thickeners like carrageenan. Documented bloating triggers for sensitive systems. And lactose-free still means cow's milk, whey and casein fully intact. Add a recall over almond cross-contamination, and at some point milk stops being the most accurate word for what's in the bottle. And number 1, Nesquik, the top of the worst list, and it isn't close. The rabbit, the yellow packaging, a pantry staple bought on autopilot by parents who grew up with it. Here's what the ingredient list actually holds. Heavy added sugar, artificial flavours, red 40, carrageenan, stacked gums and thickeners. One serving can push so much sugar into a child's system that the calcium and vitamins on the front become almost beside the point. Legal challenges have targeted claims like no artificial flavours, and salmonella recalls sit in the brand's history. Behind it all stands Nestlé, a parent company with one of the most documented records of regulatory disputes and public trust battles in global food. You're not teaching kids to love milk with this. You're training a young palate to expect candy and calling it a morning routine. That's the full avoid list, a hard one to get through. But there are brands in the aisle genuinely doing it right. And once you find them, grocery runs stop feeling like a guessing game. 5 of them, and the one at the top personally changed how I think about milk. Best option number 5, Organic Valley, the large-scale brand that kept what most large brands quietly gave up, real pasture time. It shows up directly in the milk. Higher antioxidants, vitamin E, iron and selenium than most conventional options, and a grass-fed line with substantially higher omega-3s and CLA. The compounds people are actually looking for when they reach for organic. No synthetic hormones, no routine antibiotics, no GMO feed pesticide exposure. Holding that standard at real scale is rare. Most brands this size found reasons to compromise. This one hasn't, and you can tell when you pour it. Best option number 4, Kalona Supernatural. Open it for the first time and the layer of cream sitting naturally on top can catch you off guard. Modern dairy trained us to expect a uniform liquid, so cream behaving like cream feels almost surprising. Low-temperature pasteurization preserves the flavour and natural enzymes extreme heat destroys. Non-Homogenized, so the texture stays rich. 100% grass-fed cows on small organic family farms in BPA-free containers. This is what dairy was before logistics became the priority. Best option number 3, Straus Family Creamery. Some products are easier to taste than describe. The cream rises naturally and the flavour is noticeably fresher and sweeter. Not because anything was added, but because less was removed and destroyed. Brief, gentle pasteurization instead of the prolonged heat big operations used to buy shelf life at the cost of flavour. The ingredient list is almost disarmingly short. Organic milk, that's it. Drink it after years of industrial milk, and it doesn't just taste better, it resets your baseline. Option number 2, Maple Hill Creamery. There's a moment partway through the first glass where something registers, richer, more present, more like it came from a farm than a facility. The reason is a strict 100% grass-fed diet. No corn, no grain, ever. That means higher omega-3s, beta-carotene, and vitamins A and E, with an omega ratio research links to heart and brain benefits. It's sourced from Jersey cows, which naturally produce richer milk than most commercial breeds. No hormones, no additives. Every choice points the same direction, and it shows in the glass. And best option number 1, Alexandre Family Farm. The most compelling thing people say about this brand isn't the taste. It's what stopped happening after they switched. The bloating after a morning glass, the heaviness people had accepted as just what dairy does. They switched, and it stopped. The explanation is A2 protein. These cows are bred to produce only A2 beta-casein instead of the A1 protein in most commercial dairy. And for a significant share of people, A1 is the real source of the trouble they've been blaming on dairy in general. And notice, this isn't a lactose story. Removing lactose the way Lactaid doesn't touch this. It's a protein story, and it explains years of unexplained discomfort for people who never knew the distinction existed. Fully grass-fed, minimally processed, no hormones, no antibiotics, no GMOs. If the dairy aisle has felt like a losing game, this is the brand that changes it. Not because of a marketing promise, but because of a documented protein difference most shoppers have never been told about. Milk in its most honest form. Here's the simple version of everything this investigation found. The same word, milk, covers an extraordinary range of what's actually in those cartons. Some carry contamination histories, undeclared allergens, industrial plastic chemicals. Some are among the cleanest food in a regular grocery store. And the difference is almost never on the front of the package. It lives in the ingredient list, and sometimes in something as simple as where the cream sits naturally at the top. 1 extra minute in the dairy aisle, carton flipped, ingredient list actually read, is the difference between buying the label and knowing what you're bringing home. If this changed how you'll look at that aisle, the next video does the same for protein powders. Same detail, same question. What's actually in there?